Welcome to Fully Booked, the bookish podcast where I'll chat about all things book and reading related. Whether you're a new or a pro reader, there's something for everyone to learn. I'm here to help you on your reading journey and find that next great read that will keep you fully booked. Welcome to Fully Booked, the bookish podcast where I'll chat about all things book and reading related. Whether you're a new or a pro reader, there's something for everyone to learn. I'm here to help you on your reading journey and find that next great read that will keep you fully booked. Hello readers, and welcome to episode 1 of Fully Booked. I'm your host, Natalie, and today's episode will be an introduction to the podcast, discussing what kinds of content will be covered and what you can expect as a listener. First off, I want to start with a disclaimer that I am not a professional of any kind in terms of reading or writing. I am simply a girl who's always loved reading as a hobby and had the dream this year to start a podcast so I could share my love of reading with people everywhere. I'm sure I'll get into the topic of why I wanted to start a podcast later at some point, but for now, I want to give you a table of contents, so to speak, on what to expect tuning in to Fully Booked. There will be 2 main topics which I hope to dive into more detail, which are number 1, my personal reading journey. Of course, the main reason I'm starting this podcast is because I am a huge reader, and I want to have a platform to share my monthly and yearly reading goals, which includes number of books, genres read, non-spoiler reviews, and my favorite books and genres to read. I will also dive into more specific topics, such as how I became a reader, how I track my reading, and so on. And these are only a few topics that I want to discuss, and I hope to come up with more topics to deep dive into as we go along. And my number 2 topic is tips and advice for your reading journey. As an avid podcast listener myself, I follow many other bookish podcasts, and I found that not all have more specific advice for listeners for their reading journey, but especially for new readers or people who want to get into reading. And I really have been loving the podcast format in terms of consuming and learning from content, and so I hope to share more helpful tips, advice, hacks, etc. to help you along your reading journey, no matter where you may be. Some topics I hope to get into are beginner tips to start reading or read more, different reading formats, such as physical, digital, audiobooks, reading different types of genres, and so on. Of course, I would love to hear from my listeners as time goes on what topics they are most interested in hearing me discuss on the podcast, so everyone can get the most out of their listening experience. And that is all for today's episode. Of course, this is a pretty short one since today is just an introduction, but be sure to stick around to hear me discuss more on some of the topics listed above and follow me along my reading journey. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you back here for episode 2. Thank you for listening to today's episode. I hope you were able to take away something, and be sure to follow the podcast for more bookish content. Until next time, stay fully booked, and I'll talk to you soon. Thank you for listening to today's episode. I hope you were able to take away something, and be sure to follow the podcast for more bookish content. Until next time, stay fully booked, and I'll talk to you soon.